Good evening, everyone. I'd like to formally welcome you all to Chippenham Town Council's Strategy and Resources Committee meeting. Please may I remind everyone that this public meeting is being streamed to YouTube and will be available in the public domain for a period of 6 months. Now remind all councillors to raise your hands when clearly, and keep it raised when voting, and use your microphones. Please ensure you're respectful of others in attendance at this meeting. We've received no notice of any public questions in advance of the meeting. Please can officers confirm if there are any other members of the public present who have indicated they would like to speak?
There are none, Chair.
Thank you very much. Item 1 on the agenda is apologies for absence.
Thank you, Chair. Councillor Hugh Rutledge due to a prior commitment. Councillor David Poole due to a caring commitment. Thank you, Chair.
And is there a notice of notification of substitution?
Thank you, Chair. There is. Councillor Steve Townsend is substituting for Councillor Hugh Rutledge. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 3 is declaration of interests. And all members of the Town Council are reminded to declare any pecuniary or non-pecuniary interests they may have in any business of the Council, its committees or subcommittees, in accordance with the latest approved Code of Conduct. Councillors are reminded to declare any dispensation granted in relation to any relevant matter. Are there any interests to declare? Thank you very much. Item 4 is the minutes. To receive the draft minutes of the Strategy and Resources Committee meeting held on the 25th of February 2026. Minutes require a proposer and seconder, please. Thank you. Councillor Scott and Councillor McDermott. I have no chair's announcement, you'll be delighted to know. So item 6 is the subcommittee minutes. To receive the draft minutes from the Civic Subcommittee meeting held on the 10th of March 2026. They've been previously circulated. And also the Grants Subcommittee to receive the draft minutes from the Grants Subcommittee meeting held on the 5th of March 2026 and the draft minutes from the Extraordinary meeting on the 17th of March 2026, both previously circulated. We need to consider the following items, starting with item 7, which is the renewal of the Treasury Management Strategy. And we will ask the Director of Finance, RFO, regarding the renewal of the Treasury Management Strategy for the 2026-27 financial year. Thank you, Gillian.
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, councillors. This report presents the Treasury Management Strategy for 26-27. The strategy sets out how the council manages its cash balances, investments and borrowing while controlling financial risk. It follows the SIPFA Treasury Management Code and the statutory guidance under the Local Government Act of 2003. The key points for this year are: there are no major changes to the strategy. It has been reviewed by our advisors, Arlene Close, and remains consistent with previous years. Our investment priorities remain security, liquidity and yield. At the moment, our current financial position on borrowing is that we have a 386 loan with the Public Works Loan Board. Our investments ranging between 3.5 million and 5 million during the year, and we have a healthy reserve supporting the council's plans. Looking at our borrowing strategy, we will continue to use internal resources first. Any new borrowing will only be considered to subject key projects, such as building improvements, electric vehicles or capital infrastructure. Any borrowing will require full council approval. The investment controls in our ESG, which is the environmental social governance. Investments are made only with highly rated counterparties, guided by professional advice and subject to robust internal controls. Environmental, social and governance considerations are taken into account where practical. All investors need to sign up to the UN Principles for Responsible Banking, the UN Principles for Responsible Investment, the Net Zero Asset Managers Alliance, the UK Stewardship Code 2020 and the EU Sustainable Finance Disclosure Regulations. In summary, the Council's Treasury Management Strategy continues to protect public funds maintain liquidity and achieve suitable investment returns while retaining flexibility to respond to changing conditions. Thank you. I'll pass back to the Chair for the recommendation.
Thank you. I would like to ask if anyone has any comments or questions before we deal with the recommendation. Councillor Bragg.
Thank you, Chair. On a previous meeting, the RFO advised me to not listen to the internet and hearsay, and to do my own research on one particular money market fund that we have, which is BlackRock. I've subsequently gone away and done as she requested. And I see that in March of this year, BlackRock actually capped withdrawals for investors in that particular fund. Analysts of that particular company say currently the company is at a problem with a massive decline in its share price of 12% in year to date from beginning of the year to March. I wouldn't want to see us be stuck with a company that's going from problem to crisis, and would advise definite caution on the investment in this particular money market fund, and would value any comments.
Thank you. Do you want to respond to that, Julie?
Yes, thank you, Councillor Bragg. After that last meeting, I did contact Arlene Close and put your concerns about BlackRock to them. They confirmed with me that at the moment they have no concerns with dealing with BlackRock and would guarantee investing in them. I can go back to them again with your recent concerns and see what they come back to say. But as they stated that there was no problem investing in BlackRock at the moment.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Yeah, just as it's one of those, obviously the conditions of money market fund is risk is an issue that we need to be aware of. I was just giving the RFO a heads up on a concern I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Cousins.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, on the same point, really. After the meeting, I went away because I was concerned that we were told not to look at and take what was in newspaper. So I went away and looked at BlackRock to see what they're actually investing in. And I suppose the clue's in the name, really. So Exxon, Chevron, Duke Energy. I listened to what my colleague just said there about concerns with it, but my concern as well is the environmental side of, as a council, we're aiming for 2030 net zero, as we know. And so I'm, as I said before, I'm comfortable in companies who are investing in areas which don't align, to my mind, with those things. Also, they're big stakeholders in Alphabet and Meta, who we know recently were found liable in a social media trial to be liable for children being addicted to the products which they produce. And I just don't believe that this is the sort of company that we should be investing in. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else have any? Councillor Wakeman.
I think through the chair, I'd just say with interesting view on BlackRock, I'm not as informed. I haven't gone away and done my research, unfortunately. Is it something that we could maybe get an impact assessment as the other side of the sort of the equation? No problem. I'm just thinking.
I was taking notes of what everyone was saying.
I'm just thinking. So we've got two councillors that have raised a concern. I guess the other side of the equation is what would be the impact of divesting from BlackRock. And I guess that's the other piece of information that I think would be interesting and useful.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Chair. Just to remind the committee that the purpose of this report is to review and hopefully approve the strategy that's before you, not to go for a process of scrutinising existing investments. Just to be clear on that, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Are we clear on that? Okay, so would you like to move to the recommendation now? Are you, Councillor Pantis? Is this?
As a new member of this committee, when are we able to scrutinise the investments in the way that councillors have just done?
we employ Arlene Close to do that for us.
So
They're
we're,
treasury management
okay, so
strategists.
what I hear from that is that these comments are irrelevant. Is that right?
I'm not saying they're irrelevant, but they're irrelevant to the purpose of this particular report.
Okay, my question was, okay, I'll rephrase the question. At what point or during which meeting, which committee do they become more relevant?
In answer to that, Chair, what I'd suggest to Councillor Punt is if any councillor has got any specific questions around any of their investments, come and have a conversation with myself, have a conversation with the Director of Finance, and we can talk to you about it. We can establish exactly what your concern is and the basis on which your concern is founded. More than happy to have that conversation. But as the Chair said, you know, you employ as a council professional staff to manage your investments, and we lean back on our retained professional treasury management consultants, Arlene Close, who do this for a job. It's their profession. They're advising councillors up and down the country every single day. It's what they do. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Councillor Scott.
Thank you, Chair. Just a question actually about specifically the paper and for clarity of my own understanding. So with table 3, which is the treasury investments, counterparties and limits, when it says about 1 year as a time limit for a bank, does that suggest that we're only able to stay with only one bank for 1 year, or am I misinterpreting that?
No. If our investment in the bank is good, we stay for longer than a year, but that's a minimum.
It's a minimum rather than a maximum.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now I suggest then we move to the recommendation. And are you content to approve the strategy? I think you've reviewed it. You've all clearly read it, which is great. So all those in favour of approving this strategy for 2026-2027, please. Any against? Any abstentions? Noted. Thank you, that's carried. Item 8 is the readoption of data protection policies. And I think this is Heather's report. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. So this report is to re-adopt the Council's data protection policies. There's lots of appendices attached, which you will have seen. It's a good piece of work undertaken by myself and also the Democratic and Governance Officer, so a bit of a partnership review. We've also worked with the consultants of One West who give us data advice, which is very helpful. Last review was in 2023, so we're just going through everything to make sure it reflects what the council does accurately and is fit for purpose. So I'll hand over to the Democratic and Governance Officer who will take you through some of the changes that we've made. Thanks.
Thank you. So officers have worked to ensure all the policies appended to this report are up to date and made necessary changes to job titles and responsibilities throughout all documents. One West have also been reviewed to ensure that we're in line with current legislation. When necessary, they will be updated. The reviewed policies are appended to this report and all changes are highlighted in yellow. The main area of change has been proposed within the council data retention policy, where following consultation with directors and heads of service, retention periods have been updated to reflect current practices. While some retention periods have been lengthened, there is an operational business need for this. All proposed changes have been checked with One West, and the recommendation for this report is outlined in section 9. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. I think you will note that all changes have been highlighted for us, which has made life a lot easier. So does anyone have any comments? Councillor Owen.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you to officers for a detailed piece of work. I just wonder, in Appendix A, which is on page 47 of our pack, I'll pause for 2-3 seconds for officers to get to the... I wonder whether there is a slight inconsistency or perhaps a grammatical error. Point 4 says make a judgment on whether the request is complex and therefore can be extended to a 2-month response time. But 5A says that an additional 2 months I did some research, and apparently where the matter is complex, there can be an additional 2 months to make 3 in total. So I just wondered whether point 4 should say extend by 2 months or to 3 months. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any comments, Beth or Heather?
Just going to say, can I check that page number? Is that part of the cookie policy or is that a different page?
It's the subject access.
Subject access requirement. That's per Nottingham. Just saying, I'm just checking with my colleague, is that what we intended it to read? I think make a judgment on whether the request is complex. Yeah, to me, that is, if it is complex. Yeah, we would have grounds to extend for 2 months.
It's slightly ambiguous between the two.
So 5A says an additional 2 months if complex. 4 says can be extended to a 2-month response time if complex.
Got it.
And according to the legislation, you're allowed 2 months on top of the 1 month to give 3 if it's considered complex.
We can definitely make sure that's correct and amend it if it.
I'll make a note.
Yeah, it's what's said under 5, so I agree that it's a bit ambiguous.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Yes, Councillor Bragg, then Councillor Wakeman.
Yeah, great. Thanks for this wonderful piece of work that's been completed. I see there's a lot of effort gone into it. In terms of the cookie policy section, which is on pages 22, 23, there's always going to be a changing list of different browsers. And is it now time to remove this section and just say something about generic about you can change your cookie policies in your browser? Otherwise, we're going to be changing this document a lot over the years coming up. Also, as a website, the Chippenham Town Council one should just have an automatic selection anyway to get people to decide if they want legitimate interest cookies or not for different purposes, rather than have the onus on them to go in and change privacy settings. So I just wondered if that might be something we could change.
So we have recently added something to the website, to a pop-up to ensure people can change their cookie settings easily on the website. So that went maybe the last month. This is all taken from a website, so we could easily just add a link to the website to make sure the data is up to date.
I was just going to add to that. I think obviously working with One West, it must be best practice to provide all this information. So if somebody needed it written down as an instruction, yeah, of course we do have to keep an eye and keep it updated, which is why there's a lot of yellow in that section.
Thank you, Councillor Wakeman.
Thank you, Chair. I think that's largely what I was going to go with as well, actually, that you've got that whole section there that could be out of date by tomorrow if Google changes its mind. Whether it would just be easier to, even if you put it into a separate non-policy document and just said it can be provided in written form at this location or something, just to get it out of a document that we don't want to be reviewing every month, ideally, I guess. Just to give you yeah.
Sure, Beth will say something similar, but I'm sure we're happy to do that subject to it being okay with One West. Did you want to add anything?
Yeah, I'm happy to update it, but also the link under, if you want more information, does take you directly to the up-to-date information should the instructions not panic.
Any more comments or questions? Councillor Cousins.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for the policy and all the work that's gone into it. I've got a question upon data security and data protection. I wonder, do we currently store data outside Chippenham Town Council, our own computer systems? And if so, where do we do it? I'm asking this because I've been doing some work upon data security recently and potential issues. So.
So in terms of where we store data, it's all within, like, our IT company would manage that and the security of that. So it's within that contract. I don't believe we have any external. Yeah. Yeah, obviously don't want to disclose too much information. So the chief exec is just advising wouldn't want to disclose otherwise, so happy to take that offline, but I'm content.
Yeah, well, if I just
Yeah.
explain, the sort of work I've been doing with some people at Oxford University is looking at potential issues with storage of data outside the EU particularly, and outside GDPR coverage. So I need to say no more. I can meet to discuss if it's helpful, or just leave it in your capable hands to look into that and see whether there is a potential issue there with these.
Yeah, very happy to come back and clarify.
Thank you, that's very helpful. Any more comments before we move to the recommendations, councillor Bragg?
A really quick one, just to agree with Councillor Cousins, it is an increasing alarming situation with data stored outside of the EU and GDPR. If you're looking at the situation of the French government now, they are actively divesting themselves of American technology in preference for EU driven software for just these sort of reasons. So thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. We will then move to the recommendations. We're at 9, and it's recommended that the committee re-adopt the full suite of data protection policies and delegate authority to the chief executive to make minor changes to the policies as required, with guidance from the council's appointed data protection officer. Are you all agreed? No one against? Thank you. Item 9 is the grants policy review. And I think, is that you as well, Beth?
Thank you, Chair. So the purpose of this report is for councillors to adopt the revised grants policy found in Appendix A following its recommendation by the Grants Subcommittee. A review of the grant policy has been undertaken following feedback from councillors and insights gathered during recent Grants Subcommittee meetings. Other local grants giving bodies have been consulted, including Wiltshire Council and Chippenham Borough Lands Charity, to provide guidance. The proposed provisions seek to improve clarity for applicants and councillors, support more efficient administration of the grants process, and ensure alignment with the council's corporate strategic plan for 2026 to 2030. The Grants Subcommittee at its meeting on the 17th of March 2026 resolved to recommend that the updated policy be adopted by the Strategy and Resource Committee. Officers proposed the establishment of Officers proposed the establishment of a grants working party to support the efficient consideration of applications when demand is high. The grants working party would be established at annual full council meeting to include all councillors on the grants subcommittee. Meetings of the working party would be arranged as necessary to consider applications received. The working party would consider applications and agree a set of questions to be issued to applicants ahead of the subcommittee meeting to support a more focused discussion and to enable applicants to research responses to questions ahead of the meeting. It's likely that the deadline for grants applications would be adjusted to allow the scheduling of a working party. Point 3.2 of the report outlines additional policy additions and updates designed to include the efficiency and application process and the running of the meeting. The Grants Subcommittee agreed further amendments to the policy and associated documents which have been included in the appendices attached. These include clarifications on the climate and ecological objectives, minor wording changes to ensure clarity of the scheme, such as ensuring feedback includes reference to the council's corporate policies, reference to Chippenham is clear throughout, and that the grants policies are outlined clearly. The recommendations are outlined in section 9 of this report. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Yes, I think we did quite a forensic examination of that policy, and I believe it will be more comfortable for the applicants, because I was beginning to feel that they felt they were being put through the 3rd degree to justify applying for a grant, and that's not helpful to any of us. So I think this is the way forward. I'd welcome comments from anyone who, Councillor Scott.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Purely to echo yourself, really, as someone that went through the process as part of the Carnival Committee a few months ago, I think all the changes in here read positively from the experience of someone sat on the other side. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Wakeman.
I'd say again, yes, I would thank everybody involved in the update of the policy. I think it was a really good session, very collaborative. receptive of some of the options and the sort of discussion surrounding it. So I think it's a really exemplary example of how we can make policy better.
Good, thank you. Councillor Bragg.
I fully welcome this report and these recommendations. I think this is a very good piece of work. I echo your views, Chair, that the current grants committee could, for some people, feel like a bit of a star chamber. In terms of the interrogations, councillors need to be robust about giving away money essentially to the people that apply for these grants. So it needs to be done, but I think something more akin to the method we have now is definitely a step forward, and doesn't mean you have to have excellent public speaking skills, as I clearly lack, to apply for a grant. Thank you.
Thank you. Are we happy then to move to the recommendation? Oh, sorry, Councillor Cousins.
No, not at all. Thank you. I was very disappointed not to be able to get to this meeting because I had a previous engagement at the time. I think it was, well, I can't remember. I was unwell. I wasn't able to make it, unfortunately. Because I felt very, very strongly about what should go in with this. And I think, having read the report afterwards, what an excellent job that was done with the committee, that there clearly I wasn't needed, I wasn't missed. And what we have here is a far more workable solution, both for councillors, but also the people applying for the grants.
I would never say you weren't needed, Councillor Cousins. All views are welcome, as long as they're brief. Okay, so can we now move to the recommendation that councillors adopt the revised grants policy in Appendix A following its recommendation by the grants subcommittee? All those in favour of 9.1? Thank you. And that councillors adopt the updated application and feedback forms, appendices B and C. In favour? Thank you very much. And the following items are to note. Questions may be asked for clarification purposes only. Item 10, financial administration. So report from Gillian.
Thank you, Chair. This report is to provide an update on the Council's financial administration for months 10 and 11, including our audit of payments, bank reconciliation and investment interest. First, as part of our ongoing commitment to transparency and good governance, Auditing Solution conducted their scheduled on-site audit and carried out an independent review and a sample of payments made during months 10 and 11. I'm pleased to report that all payments were processed correctly and no issues were identified. This confirms that our financial controls are being followed effectively. Turning now to our bank and investment positions, as at the end of February 2026, the Council's total funds across all accounts and investments stand at just over 4.1 million. Of this total, approximately 1.9 million is invested outside of the Lloyds account, earning an interest at rates between 4% and 6%. The DMADF investment matured on the 27th of February, and arrangements are in progress for the next investment. Overall, our investments continue to generate a healthy return for the Council. To date, the total interest received for this financial year at the end of February was just over 103,000, reflecting returns from our diversified investment portfolio. These include monthly, quarterly and half-yearly interest payments across the various funds. This additional income continues to strengthen the Council's financial position as in Appendix A. Regarding income and expenditure, the Council's precept is received in 2 equal instalments in April and September. All our other income from Council activities is monitored monthly. Expenditure is closely monitored against budget and, in summary, is provided at each Strategy and Resources Committee meeting. This ensures that the Council remains financially on track throughout the year. This report demonstrates that the Council's commitment to effective governance, efficient financial management and prudent investment of public funds. There's no staffing, legal or additional financial implications arising from the report. So in conclusion, this report acknowledges the positive audit outcome and the Council's strong financial position and the continuing returns of our investments. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Julie. Now, as you know, questions for clarification, do we have any? Right, I think, have you got your hand up, Councillor Scott, or are you thinking? Oh, right. So, Councillor Owen.
Thank you, Chair. Just to officers, just a point of clarification. the DM ADF investment of £750,000 matured during February. Is that £750,000 included in the Lloyds Bank cash balance, or is it not reflected in the figures?
No, as it states here, that's not included in the Lloyds Bank. Oh, it's the total, oh, sorry, on page, as in on page 1, on the 4.1 million, yes.
Thank you. Councillor Prentice, you had your hand up. Oh, I'm obviously seeing things that aren't there, which is a welcome change. Anyone else have any comments or questions? Okay, then can we say that we note this report? Thank you. And item 11 is the finance report. So that's our Director of Finance again, Gillian.
Thank you. So the purpose of this report is to provide an update of the Council's financial position for the first 11 months of the 25-26 financial year, covering the period from April to February 26. This includes the income and expenditure positions and the status of our capital earmark funds. Our overall financial position at the end of February, the Council's net expenditure over income stands at just over 1.7 million, compared to a phased budget of 1.8 million. This represents a favourable variance of 126,000, which reflects a surplus at this stage of the financial year and is broken down in Appendix A. Our income summary. Total income today is just over 4.9 million against a budget of 5 million, which is 69,000 adverse outcome. The majority of this variance is timing related rather than a shortfall on expected revenue. The main areas contributing to this minor variance include the outreach income, memorial and burial fees, and our market income, with other small amounts spread across general income lines. Overall, there is no significant individual income shortfalls to report. Looking at our expenditure, the total expenditure for the 11th month is just over 4.4 million, which is 195,000 lower than the phased budget of 4.6 million. The underspend is primarily due to the combination of timing differences, operational efficiencies, and specific savings. If we look at the capital earmark funds, the Council's approved capital programme for 25-26 total was just over 1.1 million. This includes the 850 annual budget, a 35,000 High Street grant, and the 256,000 carried forward from 24-25. To date, 454,000 of the capital programme has been spent, with 187,000 funded from the Community Infrastructure Levy or CIL income. If we look at our CIL income received within the first 11 months, this totals 589,000, which is on budget. The total unspent CIL balance at the end of February is 717,000, consisting of 128,000 carried forward from last year and 589,000 received this year. Additionally, 165,000 of the budget of the 180 preset contribution has been transferred to our capital and earmark funds. The total balance of these funds at the end of February 26 is just over 2.2 million. This provides strong capacity for both ongoing and future capital projects, which include improvements to parks, town centres, infrastructure, council facilities, and environmental initiatives. These financial results support our corporate priority in maintaining effective governance and effective management of council's resources. There's no staffing or legal implications arising from this report, and there is no direct climate or ecological impact, as this is an administrative financial update. So, in summary, the key message is the council is currently in a strong financial position with a small surplus against budget. Income is broadly on track with minor timing relative variances. Expenditure is below budget due to operational efficiencies and timing of invoices and purchases. And our capital projects are progressing well, with 40% of the approved programme spent and sufficient funds available for future projects. This concludes the update on the council's finances. I'll hand back to the chair for the recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you. Once again, questions for clarification only. Councillor Owen.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you to officers again. I'm probably going to be considered a pedant, so please forgive me. I think we all know what the figures are meant to show. On page 125, we've got some rogue Ks that turn up, and on page 127, there's a K that isn't there. So on 3.1, net expenditure over income, 126,041K, if I'm being a pedant, is 126 million. And in 3.2, 5,009,362K is 5 billion. And then on page 127, on 3.5, the capital earmark fund balance shows £2,270, when we know it should be 2.27 million. So forgive me for being a pedant, but I hope that we can have a file copy that has the right Ks or no Ks as appropriate. Thank you.
Or even special K.
Special K.
Are you?
If you'd like to come see me afterwards, councillor Owen, because it's 126,041 pounds.
And then it says K after it.
Yeah, 126,000.
126,000 K is 126 million, and 5,000.
It's not going to be 126 minutes. I will make a note.
Yeah. So the Ks can go on 3.1,
Yeah.
3.2, and a K can be added in 3.5, and then it will be accurate, which is why I apologise for being a pedant.
Thank you. Okay, any more comments? No? Right. Are you content to note the income and expenditure position after 11 months? All in favour? Thank you. Item 12 is the internal audit report. So that's you again, Gillian, please.
Thank you. I'm pleased to present the interim audit report for 25-26 financial year. This report reflects the second interim review conducted by our auditors, Auditing Solution, who review all sites, including Stanley Park Museum and the cemetery. The purpose of the audit is to assess the effectiveness of our internal controls, financial management, governance arrangements, and the compliance with statutory requirements. Auditing Solutions carry out their work in accordance with the Council's strategic 3-year internal audit plan, which is due for renewal this month. The areas reviewed in this audit included accounting arrangements and bank reconciliations, corporate governance, expenditure and tendering processes, including VAT, risk management, preset determination and budgetary control, staff salaries and investment and loans. I'm pleased to report that the overall conclusion from the auditors is extremely positive. They found that the Council continues to operate effective control systems and ensure transactions are free from material misstatement. They are accurately reported and in our year-end statement of accounts and AGAR. Importantly, no significant issues have been identified at this stage of the review. The auditors have made one recommendation for consideration. They suggested reviewing the fidelity guarantee cover, which currently stands at 1 million, given that our combined bank balances exceed 4 million. I'm already in discussions with our insurance provider regarding this matter, and it's been included in our insurance renewal for the 1st of April 2026. In summary, this report demonstrates that our financial management and governance arrangements remain robust and effective, which supports the corporate priority of maintaining efficient and effective management council resources. I recommend that councillors note and consent this report. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Any questions for clarification? I think we do accept this report, so all those in favour? Thank you. The next item is item for communication. So is there anything we need to communicate to our residents, councillors? Just in the usual way, available on YouTube. And to consider any questions or actions to refer to the Youth Council for their debate or opinion. Anything you can think of? No? Okay, thank you very much. We now move to item 15, to pass if considered necessary the following resolution. The press and public are excluded due to the confidential nature of the business under the Public Bodies Admission to Meetings Act. 1960 subsection 2. Are you all agreed that this should exclude the press and public? Thank you.